Yeah. You already know what time it is. It's Sunday. Fight Night Chronicles, EP.6, Ring of Fire, Battle of Champions, WBA Junior Welterweight World Champion, Aaron Pryor, 31 and 0, 29 KOs versus Alexis Arguello with 76 wins, 4 losses, 61 wins by way of KO. This fight took place November 12th, 1982. Mr. Neutral, my partner in crime, ladies and gentlemen, I'm the commissioner, aka Trill, and that's the classy one, Mr. Neutral, and welcome to another edition of Fight Night Chronicles. How you feeling there, Padre?
I'm feeling great, mate. Thanks very much. Trill, EP.6, Night of Champions, brilliant. The Ring of Fire, probably where Mr. Tucky Al Sheikh has got some of his names for his, for his bouts, but his events. But this is a cracker from 1982, November the 12th at the Orange Bowl, Miami, Florida. And history was to be made. Huh?
It was on a Friday.
It was on a Friday night. History was to be made here. Alexis Arguello going for a 4th division world title belt to make history. And Aaron Pryor, my goodness, he was the super lightweight knockout machine of his time. And was looking at a fight possibly with Sugar. Well, not I say possibly, it was actually contracted with Sugar Ray Leonard, no less.
Hey, it was rumored. I gotta throw it out there. Because we chopping it up. I know you cooking right now, but I'm gonna be interjecting while you cooking. You know what I'm saying? Trying to throw a little bit of seasoning in there while you up. You know what I mean? A lot of people said that Ray ducked Aaron Pryor. He was ducking that smoke from Aaron Pryor. That was the consistency, because they saying that, how Aaron Pryor, put them paws on Tommy Hearns in the amateurs and stuff. And they said that how he used to, train with these guys back in the days, and he always got the best of all these guys. So when, it was a rumor, that many people said that, Ray would move up, a weight class to avoid him. So, And then when it's time to fight him, he publicly said, like, fight ain't gonna happen. You know what I'm saying?
Well, yeah, you got a great point, because Ray retired, before the Aguero fight. So they were saying Pryor retired him, he didn't have to fight him. No, the truth of the matter was he was in a bit of a car knock, and detached retina was diagnosed for Sugar Ray Leonard. And such was, Pryor's disappointment. He broke down in his car, allegedly. Such was his disappointment, that fight wasn't getting made. However, another one took its place.
Yeah, because alluding to what you were saying with Alexis Arguello, he was moving up to he was a hero, first of all.
Oh yeah.
He was a hero.
National hero.
He was the guy. He was the star. I remember Bert Sugar said something about what he say. Bert Sugar said he said one was looking for recognition. That's Aaron Pryor, and the other one was looking to make history. And like you alluded to, that was Alexis Arguello moving up and weight to challenge Aaron Pryor so he could be 4-time world champion in a 4th different weight class. So there was a lot on the line, right? So like what you were saying, he broke down in the car. They did the fight there because they thought Alexis Arguello was going to win, and he was such a big star. They had all his fans there, you know what I'm saying? All the Cuban guys, everybody was there because they thought that he was about to win. And Aaron Pryor, like you said, he broke down in his car because all he wanted was recognition.
Exactly, and it was because of that desire. We got a picture of Aaron with Buddy LaRusso, who was Aaron's manager, and he was the reason inadvertently why the Sugar Ray Leonard fight didn't happen the first time. This was not the first time Aaron Pryor tried to fight Sugar Ray Leonard. Initially, before Arguello, Pryor was offered $500,000 to fight Sugar Ray Leonard for an undisputed fight. Aaron Pryor turned that down. They come back with a $750,000 thing. He turned that down also. So Sugar Ray Leonard's team walked away at that point for a wee while to think about things. But in the meantime, Buddy LaRusso there, who was Pryor's manager, was renegotiating his contract with Aaron. And it was Top Rank who told Aaron, look, hold back until you've signed, you've got your affairs in order. And it was that delay that, for Sugar Ray Leonard to look elsewhere. So until, the next offer that come in, which was what Aaron wanted, was $1 million. That's when I said that fight was virtually done deal, verbally, all the rest of it. But that, obviously that accident got in the way. But Arguello, he was obviously frustrated prior, but Arguello was a fantastic option simply because he was a national hero, as he quite rightly said. The whole family was. His brother was in politics, and we'll come to a little bit about him later. Now, Arguello, 3-division titleist, absolute national hero. He was a man of class.
Yeah.
He was smooth, he was suave, he was sophisticated. The public loved him. He was the gentleman of the ring, he was called in his home country. And such was his popularity that he commanded massive Latino audiences, especially in Texas and Nevada when he fought there. So, he was the Manny Pacquiao of today, if you like. That multi-division world champion that brought a massive fan base, and it was something to behold. And on fight night, these two actually commanded the same purses, 1.5 and 1.6 to Pryor respectively. So decent money for these two, and Pryor was at last felt that this fight was going to be the fight where it would give him that recognition of beating a 3-time world champion, going to make history, to make it a 4th world title, unprecedented at the time, considering nobody else had done it through those lower weights. So much was on the line here for this fight, Joe.
Yeah, definitely. I want to build it up. I want to still build up before we get into the fight because I want people to get familiar about who these guys was.
Let's do it.
Personally, before we get into the fight, like you was talking about Alexis Arguello, he was considered like he had these great fights. Like, he had these fights with Mr. Rooney and Ray Boom Boom Mancini and
that's right.
Like he became a star. Many people would say, if y'all familiar with the show Legendary Nights, if you go back and watch that, they were calling how he became a star because he was the guy who went in there, he destroyed these fighters, right? And like he did the great Ray Boom Boom Mancini, destroyed him. But I think Ray's father was going through some ailments at the time, and he showed so much love after putting them paws on Ray. He showed so much love and compassion for his father. He was telling him that I love your father and stuff like that. Made Ray's father cry. And in that moment right there, Alexis Arguello became basically everybody's favorite fighter. He became a superstar and everybody's favorite fighter. Everybody rooted for him to win. He was smooth. He had pop. He had power. Like Mr. Neutral was saying, he was like, if you had to pick a boxer, like to be, a lot of people would have picked him. If you miss, he made you pay and put you on your behind. Not only what he did in the ring, what he did outside the ring. When he had some stuff where, you know, the government, you know, took all his stuff, right? And he had to relocate. Remember that, Mr. Neutral? He had to relocate, and he relocated here. He had to leave his home country and come here and into Florida, actually. And that's
Yeah.
why they did the fight there. Because he became like a hero because people against communism. You
Yeah, his country was going through terrible turmoil at the time, and as we mentioned his brother before, his brother was in politics, and it was the fact that his brother got killed by government forces, shall we say, at the time. He was on the rebel side, the Sandinistas, National Liberation Front of Nicaragua, and because of his death and the fact that the government robbed his father as well, that he went to war with them
yeah.
at a later date. You know, that's we'll discuss that in the aftermath.
Mhm.
You know,
Yeah.
of these two, but you know, you're quite right. You know, this guy, you couldn't understand how much the Nicaraguan people love this man and his family. You know, and the way that he was going up through the weights, you know, and especially when he got to the lightweight, and as you quite rightly said, he was dealing with people like
Yeah.
Reed Boom Boom Mancini. Obviously one of the man in boxing who got me into boxing was Mr. Jim Watt, WBC lightweight champion of the world at that time. And when he beat him, Arguello, I was mortified. And, you know, as a young child, 13 years of age, you know, it was the end of the world for me. So he already commanded respect in my eyes before going into this Pryor fight, although he was favourite by the bookies, being in Florida as considered home soil. It was, you know, it was not to be taken lightly that Arguello was going to fold under the big punching Aaron Pryor, because he had sublime skills, Arguello. But you know, Aaron, again, he was something else. No matter who you put in front of him, he was going to deal with. And as you look at that picture in the ring just
Mhm.
before the bell, and you know, Aaron Pryor and his trainer Lamar Lewis giving intimidating signs and gestures, you know, to their opponents. And he did that a lot in his fights. And a lot of people would say that Pryor had frightened his opponents to death in that ring, to solid stone even.
Yeah.
And thus was his you know, his reputation. Brilliant stuff.
Picture right here says a lot too, because when he did this right here, he was mad. He was frustrated. He
Yeah,
was frustrated at the announcement. He felt that Alexis Arguello got a better announcement than he got. He was like, "There go again. There they go again, overlooking me again and disrespecting
yeah,
me again." Because Aaron Pryor was a guy who, when he grew up with a chip on his shoulder. He felt like nobody ever supported him. Nobody was ever there for him. None of his
yeah,
people never ever came to none of his fights. None of his amateur fights never came to support him or nothing. So he had a chip on his shoulder, and he fought with that chip on his shoulder every time he went out. Then when he didn't make the Olympic team and he had to see everybody else make the Olympic team, that definitely stung. People said that he stood in front of the mirror and all he did was punch himself in the face over and over again because he was so disappointed that he didn't make it, you know, and he had to go see everybody else go that he felt like he was better than. And he thought
yeah,
that he would have been able to make a lot of money where he started. Everybody else was got $1 million contracts. When he started fighting, he was only getting like 2,000 a fight. You know what I'm saying? So Aaron Pryor, he fought with that, never getting the recognition, feeling like he was always overlooked, never getting the shot that he wanted. So yeah, when this happened and they introduced Alexis Arguello, they introduced him as Mr. Alexis Arguello. And then when he said his name, all they said was Aaron Pryor. And that
yeah,
hurt his feelings. And when he heard his feelings, he was like, "Oh no, I'm gonna come out here and I'm gonna put these paws on him and I'm gonna hurt them. I'm gonna hurt this guy." You know what I'm saying? And that's exactly what Aaron Pryor did. That's how he fought all his fights. He just fought with a certain type of energy that, you know what I mean? And he just wanted to be loved. That's what a lot of people say. That's why he had the big entourage. He was one of the first, like not one of the first, but he was one of the guys that had one of the big entourages and used to say, "What time is it?" And everybody
Yeah,
yell out, "It's hog time.
it's hard time.
It's hog time."
Absolutely. He cut a frustrated figure, especially the last 2 or 3 years before this fight. As you quite rightly said, he was still fighting for low purses. I read somewhere that I think it was $400 for his debut um, back in 1976. It sounds like a little bit of money there, but every penny counted back in them days. And
Yeah,
he built himself, and he wasn't getting recognition, and that was frustrating him as time goes by. Quite correctly, you said he was taking that frustration out on his opponents in that ring, and he was never satisfied after a fight. If you looked at Aaron Pryor, never satisfied. He wanted more. He wanted, the public, the powers that be, the sanctioning bodies. He wanted that recognition that was given to the likes of Sugar Ray Leonard and Thomas Hunt.
yeah, and he wanted it bad, and he wanted it
Oh
bad.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, he did.
he was being
Can't
everybody.
blame him.
Yeah, he was being everybody. He felt like he was the best, and he deserved his shot on this night. On this night, November 12th, 1982. I mean, excuse me, on a Friday, November 12th, 1982, the Ring of Fire Battle of Champions, Mr. Alexis Arguello was moving up in weight to challenge Mr. Aaron Pryor for the WBA Junior Welterweight Championship. We're going to get into this fight in a little bit, man. It was one of
Yeah.
those ones. It was just one of
And
those ones.
by God, did the WBA try to, jeopardize this fight? At first, they wouldn't give Aguero a ranking because he'd never fought it, obviously at super light. And it wasn't, he had to fight somebody to get that. And I believe it was Kevin Rooney to get that ranking. So he knocked Kevin out in the second round. And Kevin had a great record of 19-1 at the time and was a very established boxer. So, again, this was part of the frustration element, and the WA finally sanctioned the fight. I think it was just like a couple of months before. And then, they were finally able to get preparations underway. But, the WBA did their very best to stop the WBC champion from taking that title.
Yeah, I seen this little video right here of this probably Trey snuck this in here. So shout out to Trey.
That was Aaron Pryor. He would take your best punch, spit in your eye, and then kick your ass.
What time is it? What time is it? What time is it?
Pryor was one of those early inner city fighters who came with an entourage of people making noise and threats and charging themselves up.
And he always had this chorus, everywhere he went.
I got a bunch of guys. What time is it? Hog time. What time is
it? Yeah. What time is it? Hawk time. So yeah, that was definitely
you could tell the media weren't a fan of us, couldn't you? Larry Merchant there. You could just tell by his demeanor he just was not a fan. And that's a shame. Because I believe as media you should embrace all personalities and all strategies, whether it be in the ring or out of the ring. It was just he was part of that HBO team back there that just had their pure favorites, and you could tell who they loved and who they didn't.
Yeah, and they wasn't shy. They wasn't
shy.
No,
they were not shy about saying it either. It was like a personal one-upmanship, if you like, on the boxer. It was like a battle between them.
Yeah, and it came down to because somebody said this Alexis Arguello, they wanted this fight to be a 12-round fight.
Yes, because he'd never done a 15-round fight.
Yeah, they wanted this fight to be a 12-round fight, and Aaron Pryor and his team, they said no. A lot of people were saying if they would have stopped if the fight was a 12-round fight and the fight would have ended in 12 rounds, a lot of people said that, it would have swung to Alexis Arguello the way the crowd was going and how the judging was going that night. They said one of the judges had him winning every round.
Yeah. If my wife had wheels, she'd be a bike. It's one of them. You'll never know.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, we're gonna get into this fight, man. We were just building this fight up. We're gonna talk about it. We're gonna break this fight down because this was one of those ones. Ladies and gentlemen, you're about to watch Ring of Fire. The Battle of Champions. This is episode 6 of Fight Night Chronicles, and thank you to everybody that is locked in right now.
Let's go.
Yeah, let's get the show on the road. Aaron Pryor, 31-0, 29 KOs versus Alexis Arguello, 76.
Pryor with the first punch. He scores with a right hand.
If someone gets knocked down in the first round.
Pryor, perpetual motion. He is off the ropes. Crowd already. Scores on Pryor, whose legs buckle for a moment.
Style.
First round. Uppercut, the right hand, and another left.
See Alice go at this pace in the first.
There's another right hand by Pryor, and another right hand, and another. And Arguello gets off the rope.
Pryor can hop right on him now.
This is first round.
That's grounded. He scores. This getting through. Pryor is very sharp.
Pryor had 5 first-round knockouts.
He can't stand straight up. A 6 here. Gets very good leverage. But inside, it should be Aaron Pryor.
Look at that.
That a fight lives up to the press clippings. So far, this one has, albeit it is early. Arguello fighting off the ropes and fighting very effectively.
Because, again,
Alex can't emphasize enough, the crowd is very much pro Arguello. So when Arguello took another shot right there.
although Pryor's landing very well.
Kevin Rudy tonight, but it was a...
I really believe that
Pryor starting to get a little arm room. That was not damaging into the center of the ring. Pryor, in a particular, wear a man down. Right hand caught Arguello on the gloves, but he did score with an uppercut.
Arguello gets too much. Opposite weed throws a
roll that he has. He just makes a very tough target. That was an overhand. I would tend to agree with Larry. I don't really double up on the jab as this corner with his chin.
Yeah, as you see in here from the first 3 rounds or so, first 4 rounds, excuse me, Aaron Pryor came out swinging.
Oh yeah,
he came out like you were saying there about his first. What did he say? 5 first
round knockouts. He was looking for a 6.
Yeah,
you know, he was angry. He was frustrated. You know, he had the focus, and you could tell we had Arguello up against the ropes, putting paws to leather. You know, it was brutal looking just from reliving that part there. That first couple of rounds with Alexis, and all he could do was cover up and try and counter back as best as he could. And it felt to me at that time that, you know, Arguello was just soaking up. I think he was trying to let Aaron punch himself out, but that was not going to happen with the young buck.
Yeah, like I was saying, Aaron was mad. He was mad at the introduction. He was mad how he was treated the whole time. He was mad how they introduced him. So he came out firing. He's like, they ain't taking this from me. I'm going to show him that he the smaller guy. I'm the big dog, and you don't belong. He came out firing. And like you said, it was like Alexis Arguello was like, yeah, let you fight your fight. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. I'm gonna get you later. So yeah, this is, like I said, this was an exciting couple of rounds. We're going to get into it more.
Well, Arguello, the way he's fighting.
Arguello's almost trying to measure Aaron Pryor. He's not fighting it.
Arguello started throwing punches under. It's in there. Pryor has the ability to throw his rhythm off.
Punch, all in combinations, and that's the way.
With all boxers. About too long. He can't float his punches.
And that was not. That hurt Arguello. Arguello holds on here. Above the left arm. And the blood showing all around.
An exchange midway through Arguello's fight, the face, and that could have been where the cut was formed. No, we don't see it as yet. Aaron Pryor come under with his punches.
There was a good bit worse on Arguello as well. Stinging his punches either.
Well, he's fighting a bigger man, as a matter of fact. Because and with the fight like a
support of Alexis Arguello.
The only thing I did horrible for an overhand. Arguello's going to find him out. Watch what happens when right.
There's just as you mentioned, Ray.
It'd be quite difficult for Arguello to figure out.
Duke him out.
Well, Panama to stay there, not to come out back outside.
There's a right hand that causes Pryor to take a step. There was a right hand by Arguello. Three-punch combination by Pryor, who's now right on top of Arguello. Arguello stays right there. Pryor, who still feels he owes. Talk a little bit toward the end of this round about.
I sense that
uppercut.
No matter who has the most heart.
Aaron Pryor would get. Good combination by Pryor. Stanley Christodoulou continuing to talk right
at this point. Pryor has built up a massive lead at that point.
Yeah, and I don't want people just to think that Aaron Pryor was going in there and it was just a wash. It was one moment, it was a couple moments in that fight that Alexis Arguello hit Aaron Pryor with some mean shots.
Beauties, yeah.
Yeah, some crazy shots. Aaron Pryor said that that Alexis Arguello hit him so hard he thought that his head flew off his body.
That's a great analogy.
Yeah, he said he hit him so hard he thought his head fell off his body, man. He said he was getting hit with something crazy. He said Alex Arguello, he can punch. He was saying he just couldn't knock him out that night. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
He couldn't knock him out of there that night.
56 knockouts from 72 fights. It was incredible, ratio, and just supplants that. That image that a pound for pound guy hasn't got the power going up in weights. He certainly has, and as as Aaron admitted later, he punched like a mule.
Yeah, I was trying to find this other thing, but yeah, we're gonna get back to that.
So Pryor at this point had only lost about 2 rounds. He's well up on the cards, but with Arguello, he's one of them, takes his time and then starts to turn things around.
Yeah, y'all see me. I got my popcorn. It's Fight Night Chronicles. And we're locked in right now. We're gonna get to the end of this fight, and then we're gonna get into it was so much that went on with this fight before, during, and after. But here's another fight.
For a while, then moves. You notice Arguello can get set.
Thrifty with his punches. There's Arguello. But Pryor did not take one step back. Tough
Arguello, because if not, I feel Pryor would have been down.
Pryor coming back with an attack of his own. Takes combination by Arguello again. The uppercut and the overhand right.
Arguello starting to stand on his punches, center of the ring.
And the pace picking up
considerably. The screw on Pryor. He's still throwing massive bombs over the through his fight.
Uppercut by Arguello. That right hand missed. A right hand by Pryor, right on the eye of Arguello. By Pryor. The left scored, the right on the glove. A little bit of blood showing once more from the eye. More of a problem now than it was 4 rounds ago.
I think this is to carry on for 15 rounds.
Arguello. Another good right hand and a left hand. Draw a deep breath.
Oh, beautiful.
Pryor forces the attack. This is the 13th round. It is still anybody's guess. Toe to toe.
Arguello's way he throws his left hand.
Arguello is in
He's hit up Arguello for the moment.
country he's never been in, doing round
There's a
13.
right hand by... Stand up against that punch.
Come back like Pryor's doing.
Oh, by Arguello, and it really has caught Pryor out of position. He's lunging a little bit. There's a...
Take a look and see that hand. There it is. And where Aaron... And it'll hurt just as much.
Combination. And a left hand snaps the head of Arguello. A left jab and a combination again. And Arguello's in trouble. Trouble against the ropes. Pryor going for the kill, trying to put him away. Arguello trying to
Great
come
chin.
a smashing right hand. Arguello's helpless against
That would
the
be
ropes.
stopped today.
Arguello's hands at his side. It's over. What a...
Eventually. But look, you know, at round 13, he'd won 5 of the last 6 Arguello, and the cards were starting to shrink. Now, we saw that stoppage there at the end, but there is a wee story at the end of round 13, Trill.
Yes. Actually, it happened twice. It happened at the second round, and then it happened the 13th round. And people were saying during the fight, where's Aaron Pryor getting this energy from? That's what they were saying. It was like he was coming back. He was like, oh, he seemed like he was fading. Oh, now look, he got this energy. He got this energy now. And you know, Ray was doing commentary. Sugar Ray Leonard was doing commentary, and he was sitting there talking about how Aaron Pryor, his energy, and how, you know, it just seemed like it wasn't fading. So now he's getting even more energy and stuff like that. So after this fight, there was a lot of controversy because the commission dropped the ball. They didn't get urine samples. They didn't get urine samples after the fight. And then right after that, you know, my man Pryor, he partying. You know what I'm saying? Finally, he feels like he got the win, you know, that he deserves, and he's getting the recognition that he deserves. You know what I'm saying? And finally, he got that name. You know how we always talk about it, Mr. Neutral, how certain fighters need a name so they can become a star, or, you know what I mean, get some type of credibility. He never really had a name. Even when he wanted his title, he felt like he needed that marquee name, and he finally got that name. And while he's partying, he's celebrating, everybody is talking about, instead of talking about, you know, the actual fight and how he put them paws on Alexis Arguello, everybody was talking about
round 13.
Round 13, when Panama Lewis said, pass me that water bottle. No, not that one, the one I mixed.
Yeah, to Artie Cully, his cut man.
Mm-hmm. He said,
pass me that bottle, the one I mixed.
The one I mixed. You don't believe us? We got it.
Give me another piece. Give me another bottle. The one I mixed. Okay? Come on.
Live in 4K.
Undeniable. No, it's not even hearsay. It's there in 4K.
Yeah, so, a lot of people had something to say when they first started. Some people, like Tony Atlas, was like, he just thought that was Panama Lewis injecting himself into a situation that he didn't need to. People felt like Aaron Pryor didn't need that bottle to beat Alexis Arguello. Even Ray Leonard, a lot of other people saying that and stuff, they hurt Aaron Pryor. So people were mad and people were angry. And shoot, I would be too if I was the other fighter and you hear something like this.
Give me another piece. Give me another bottle. The one I mixed. Okay? Come on.
I don't want to talk much about Panama Lewis, but this ain't the first time that, you know, he's been caught into a situation where, you know, he just wants to win, and he wants to win so bad that he would do anything to win. I'm not going to bring up other situations he's been in, because we're probably going to talk about those on this legendary show, Fight Night Chronicles. We're probably going to call one of these fights that Panama Lewis did, where he did some other corruption in that fight as well. But everybody was so fixated on that and vilifying Aaron Pryor that people called for a immediate rematch. People wanted a rematch so bad, Mr. Neutral. What did you feel when you hear this? I'm gonna play it again for you.
Give me another thing. Give me another bottle. The one I mix. Okay?
When
No.
you first seen that, Mr. Neutral.
Well, do you know what? I'll be honest here. That's the very first time I've ever seen that clip. I've read testimonies, all the rest of it. I've never actually gone back and searched for that clip. So big up to you for doing that, because that shows you that here we like to back up what we say when it comes to these shows. And the official explanation afterwards was that it was a mixture of peach schnapps and Perrier water and water, because he had an upset stomach.
Yeah, hope him not have the runs, right?
Right. So there happened to be that, other people thought it was cocaine mixed with honey and water. There was other stories that a boxer that used to train under Panama.
We know the truth.
We know the truth.
We know the truth because we here at Fight Night Chronicles. Do you know what I'm saying? Because and we do our homework here. This is not like a regular show. This is two passionate brothers who love the sport of boxing so much. You can hear it in our voice the way we talk about these fights. We act like they just happened yesterday. You know? But it happened many a moons ago. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, like I was saying, when I first seen it, Mr. Neutral, I was like, Panama, you just took away from.
You just took away glory.
They put dose. What was in that bottle? You know what I'm saying? And it takes away from that victory because fans wasn't trying, because anything that Alexis Arguello hit him with, the fans went crazy. And I was saying, he needed that stoppage, because if they would have stopped it in the 12th round, many people feel like Alexis Arguello would have got away with that victory because of the fanfare and because of one of the judges who kept even the rounds that were clearly Aaron Pryor rounds. The judge was giving it to Alexis Arguello. So
he was the funny thing was Pryor was up on the cards, 127, 124. With two of the judges, so he was on two judges' cards. He was 3 rounds up. So at this point, Panama Lewis, for me, panicked and brought out Plan B. Now, other stories, saying what was in the mixture was antihistamine pills mixed with some lemonade or something like that. But they don't give you energy. As one of his ex-boxers in the 2008 special documentary come out and said that Panama Lewis had used antihistamine pills to clear the lungs of his bouts before Panama got banned from boxing. It's unfortunate, that what that fight had done for 13 rounds for Aaron Pryor was jeopardized by his trainer, who panicked and didn't have the faith in his fighter to see the fight out. And Arguello, although he was coming on strong, there was nothing to suggest from the evidence we'd seen there that Aaron was going to get knocked out by Alexis. What the other bottle? This has always been the question. The black bottle. What was in that black bottle?
Well, we know what was in the bottle. You know what I'm saying? We know what was.
We're just teasing you guys.
Just teasing you guys. But we know what was in the bottle
right now.
Okay, go ahead.
And I want everybody out there to talk about Panama Lewis and give me the mix. Give me the mix. Okay, that was not steroids. Okay, that's not what it was. Now, if you want to know what it was, I'm going to tell you.
Okay.
So it's been years and years later, you're going to find out what it was, okay? You're coming from me. All right? It was nothing no more than water and asthma tablets. That's all it was. It was ground up asthma for people that got asthmatics. They'll take it, When it gets to coughing, it opens up your lungs, you intake your oxygen. That's what it was. That's all it was. Mixed up in water. So you took a little bit on your tongue and you do that, and all the air, your air, everything opens up. It's not nothing. Asthma is used for asthma. The tablets are used for asthma tablets. That's all it is.
So
Asthma tablets
Asthma tablets.
and water.
And it was used to,
open his lungs. But is that cheating during the fight?
You know what, Mr. Neutral? As the commissioner, I gotta keep it 100. I gotta
make a ruling, sir.
I got my name for a reason, and I didn't give myself this name. The people gave me this name, so I gotta stand up. Listen, the rules is you cannot have nothing in your corner but water. Water. You can't.
H2O.
Yeah, and you can't mix water with water. You know what I'm saying?
Whatever's in that water should not be in this water.
Yeah. So when he said,
Give me another piece. Give me another bottle. The one I mix.
You can't mix water with water. You know what I'm saying? He said, not that water.
That's the incriminating word, mixed. If he just said, pass me that water bottle.
The other water bottle.
Yeah. Because maybe that one, there's not a lot left in it, or it was going stale. Exactly. Give me that other water bottle. But he said, the one I mixed. That is intention. He's told you what he's intentionally done pre-fight. He's mixed a bottle up. So he's already had this plan in his mind at what point to open up Aaron's lungs. Mm-hmm. Did Aaron need it? This is the question. No.
Yeah. No.
I don't think he did.
Nah, I don't think Aaron Pryor needed it on that night. And the reason why, and we got a chance to prove that he didn't need it that night, because you know what? They did a rematch. It was so nice that they had to do it twice, right?
That's right. But funnily enough, both of them had 2 new trainers coming into this fight. Alexis Arguello fired Eddie Fitch mistakenly after this fight, and regrettably, he said years later, that maybe cost him his extended career. But and of course, Panama had to be replaced by Raquel Griardi first of all, and then get on this. Aaron Pryor, you probably know this, Joe, but for the guys out there, Aaron Pryor had to hire in the end for the fight the one and only Emmanuel Stewart, and had to pay him $1.5 million for the privilege.
Yeah, it's because you had to look at it like this. After this situation, right? The whole bottle situation, Bottlegate.
Okay, great.
Bottlegate. This was the first one. Oh, snap. This was the first one. This is Bottlegate, right? So after Bottlegate, with later was told to be the asthma tablets, they fought again. And Aaron, without the bottle, knocked him out in the 10th round.
10th round.
Earlier.
Yeah.
Than in the previous fight. He just had his number.
Which proved that he didn't need the other mixed bottle. He did it a year later, less than a year later, 10 months. And he had 2 more fights in between that to tie him over, Aaron. Sorry, yeah. I can't remember who he fought in his fight before Arguello, but he had to have another fight. Arguello had to have 2 fights just to get back into it. But, they fought less than a year later. And Arguello, again, come into this fight supremely confident that he was going to do the business, considering he felt cheated in fight 1.
Well, that's strange, because at first he didn't contest it. It wasn't like it was all his people was saying that he was cheating.
Yeah.
and stuff like that, but he never contested it.
They did actually put an appeal in with the WBA, but they retracted it 2 weeks later.
Yeah, he ended up Pryor, after he fought Alexis Arguello, he had one more fight against Sang Hong Kim.
That's him. Yeah, I think it was a mandatory. And he, and I believe that his trainer, or sorry, his promoter, had said that was the worst boxer he'd ever seen Aaron fight in his life. Such was the poor standard. But that was, mandatories for you at the time. The guy was ranked, and the Hawk had to fight him. But the rematch was then set for September 1983 at the Rose Bowl. Sorry, in Caesar's Palace, Nevada. And Aaron Pryor was 33 and over, 31 knockouts, still undefeated, still the defending champion. And Alexis Arguello, this same stylistic matchup, pressure versus ring IQ and power. The purses were significantly larger in this fight. Pryor was getting $2.25 million, and Arguello was getting $1.75 million, and that was great money back then, Trill.
Yeah.
You hear about boxers today struggling to make $1.5, $2.2 million in the ring, and this, was 43 years ago. So the money was good. The boxers were looked after a lot better back in, the heyday, the golden era, as I call it, the 80s and 90s. Boxing's golden era. It certainly was. And these two gentlemen were just made up a small part of that era.
Yeah, because you had the thing. You had Tommy Hearns, you had Duran, you had Ray, and then you had these guys. You had, and then this was crazy. But
Hagler, Huns,
yeah,
the list goes on.
I wanted to tell you that you was right too about Alexis Arguello. He had the two fights, Vladimir Fernandez and Clyde Noel. Yeah,
Noel, that's him.
And those were the
Claude
two
Noel. Claude, that's the one.
Claude Noel before they had the fight again. So Aaron Pryor had one fight before they met again, and Alexis Arguello had two fights.
Spot on.
Before they met again, and it was a doozy. It was a doozy.
Yeah.
And once again, Aaron Pryor won by stoppage in the 10th round. So all that he cheated and all this stuff was put to bed. It was put to bed.
All that sort of controversy was short-lived, thankfully. It's not one of them fights that we still consider controversial today. Now that we know the facts of the matter. From testimony straight out of the horse's mouth, it's undeniable now. So it took away that controversial image of Aaron Pryor today that ordinarily would stick that stigma with boxers, if they didn't do rematches and all the rest of it. But Pryor said, no, I'll give the boy another shot. Let's do it. Mm-hmm. And I want to prove that wasn't the case. And Panama Lewis was not there. The great Emmanuel Stewart was, and he'd done the job in quicker time. So, all clear. Thank you very much.
And famously known, Mr. Emmanuel Stewart, the great Hall of Fame trainer and, founder of the Crump, he didn't like going the distance. He loved knockouts.
Oh, he did.
he loved knockouts.
Ask Evander, ask Lennox Lewis, ask
yeah.
any of his boxers, any of them, champions galore that would give you pure knockouts. Yeah, he knew. He was brilliant.
He didn't play that. I want to say this, and then I'm gonna let you cook. We lost Alexis Arguello. He was born April 19th, 1952. He passed July 1st, 2009. It's controversial, very controversial. But definitely want to give him his flowers and say thank you for all he contributed to the sport that we love so much. He was a warrior inside and outside the ring. Loved by many, loved by all, actually. Nobody actually that you can think of,
That's
has
an
a bad word
extent.
to say.
Yeah, you can see an extension of the grief from the public in Nicaragua. As I said before, his family were loved. His brother fought for the rebels that ultimately overcome and reshaped his country. Alexis would go on to be the mayor of his hometown, which was of personal pride to him that he could help his people. He poured much of his wealth into, his country's rebels to overthrow a communist country or communist-led government. He cared not for wealth and material things. He wanted to put his country right. And it was said that on his death that he managed to put 2 bullets into his own heart to commit suicide. Maybe that was the sort of rhetoric or talk that was accepted in 2009 by some individuals, but common sense would tell us that would be an impossible thing to do. And he would have to have pulled that trigger twice. Many people in his country thought he was murdered by the Sandinista newly led party, who he was threatening to leave, Alexis, because of the way the corruption was starting to re-emerge in his country's politics. And so many believe that he was killed by factions of the government. We'll never know. But the official verdict is the suicide that the Nicaraguan government are giving out. Hard to believe that a man who had gone through so much in the boxing ring, who had given the fans worldwide, not only at home in Nicaragua, he was a global superstar, suave, sophisticated, never swore, didn't drink until obviously after his career ended and depression hit him for a number of years. But to go out in that manner, in that fashion, was sad. And he'll be sorely missed by people still in that country.
Yeah, definitely. To this day, they still think of Alexis Arguello and praise Alexis. It's really, really sad just to think. I don't really to dive too much into it. He was just like a well-liked guy. Even when he lost to Aaron Pryor, people loved him so much that they cried. They cried when they seen him on the floor. They cried so much. He even cried. He cried in disappointment. He said to his son, he apologized to his son. He apologized to his son. His son talks about it to this day, and he chokes up and he cries and he says, "Dad, why are you apologizing to me?" But he was so
such as his pride.
He felt that he let the people down. Because like you was alluding to, all he cared about was the people. And at the end of the day, many say that that's what cost him his life. They said it was a suicide. And thank you so much, Mr. Neutral, for your journalism. You're right there, my brother, because you was spot on. That was spot on. There's no way in my heart I don't feel like the great Alexis Arguello would have did that. That's just me personally.
I think he as you quite rightly, sorry to interrupt you there, Trill, to apologize to his son and then kill himself. No, the man had too much pride. He had too much to live for his, not only himself but his family, his people. I don't believe he committed suicide for 1 microsecond. He was too big. He was too influential. And that's the problem with human beings sometimes, when you have forces that are negative. That's all I'll say.
Yeah, definitely. We also, October 20th, 1955, Aaron Pryor was born, and he passed October 9th, 2016. I want to give Aaron Pryor his flowers. I know he felt in the sport of boxing that he was never given his just due, right? He was never given the love or gotten the recognition. But I'm here to tell you, my brother, that I was a huge fan. Everybody that I know that was from my community was a huge fan, especially when we went back later on and got a chance to watch your fights and see everything you do. We was walking around. What time is it? Hawk time. You know what I'm saying? When we said that we was going to do this fight, the first thing that I yelled out, like,
Hawk
what
time.
it's Hawk time. That was the first thing I yelled
That's
out.
the first thing you said.
Yep. I was all smiles. The great Aaron Pryor, he feel like he never got his just due. You know, he retired what was that, 39-1. He only had that one loss, Bobby Joe Young. But yeah, he was a problem. And anybody you mentioned, anybody that knows boxing, you know, we even just had that little clip right there where they talked about Aaron Pryor. Like, he was the type of person, you punch him in his face, he'll spin in your eye and say, what next? You know what I'm saying? He's coming back.
All you got? Is that all you got?
That's all you got. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, he was a monster. He was a force to be reckoned with.
Yeah,
he will be missed. He will be missed.
Absolutely. And beautiful send off there. His entourage. And he, as you see, is much, much loved. But it's all too often, it's years and years later that these boxers like Aaron Pryor, you know, are immortalized, you know, in the Boxing Hall of Fames. It's just sad that he wasn't given the love and the recognition at the time when he needed it.
Exactly.
Rather than years later after his passing. And it's the same story all too often. And that's why we bring here these Fight Night Chronicles to you guys to revisit this and say, give these men their flowers, give them their honor, pay them some homage, because the stories that exist today are because of these men and the way they put their lives on the line in that ring. And we here at iBoxingHub are giving you that. And I love it, Joe.
Yeah, I love it, man. This was definitely another dope episode of Fight Night Chronicles, episode 6, Ring of Fire, Aaron Pryor versus Alexis Arguello. Once again,
Art of Champions.
Yeah. Once again, Mr. Neutral, we knocked this out the park, you know, and next week,
Yes, sir.
ladies and gentlemen, we will be here next week, next Sunday, with another episode of Fight Night Chronicles. It's going to be a surprise. We ain't going to let it out the bag yet, but it's going to be a surprise, and you know it's going to be a great, great episode, because that's what we do. That's all we do, is put on great, great episodes. Shout out to everybody that is watching. Please like and subscribe. Everybody that's watching later, please like and subscribe. And please go over there and show Mr. Neutral some love, and my homie Jams over there at Red Corner Boxing. Please go over there and please subscribe. Not later, right now. Please go ahead and subscribe to the channel. Much love, much respect. I appreciate you guys, man, for tuning in and locking in. Make sure you holler at me on X at Raetrilogy, and you can holler at Mr. Neutral, the classy one, at Neutral's Corners, right? On X, as on X as well, you know. And yeah, thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for tuning in to another episode of Fight Night Chronicles.
Hope you guys enjoyed it. You know, we enjoy bringing you these wonderful nights of boxing and relive it, you know, as if we were ringside for you guys. It is great stuff. You know, it really is. The more you can learn about what went on behind the scenes of certain fights, it just gives the story that extra tension, you know, and validity, because when you're there at the time, and you can feel it. It's great. The prickles start, and the adrenaline goes. Especially back in the day where there was no internet. So this is fantastic. Thanks, Joe, once again.
No, but this is history. You don't know where you're going till you just know where we've been. You feel me?
That's it, yeah.
We out of here. Much love, much respect.
Yeah. Feels good. So,